guys? Welcome back to the Jawas and Java podcast. My name is Michael. This is my brother Stefan. Today we're jumping on here to discuss something that's going on in the Star Wars universe, something that was trending for a good amount of time today and also last night. Robert Downey Jr.'s involvement in the future of Star Wars, whether he's going to be casted in Star Wars for a significant role, whether it's Thrawn, which is a lot of speculation, or somebody else. So we're just going to jump into it now and discuss our thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. joining the Star Wars universe. Steph, what do you think?
So just to first and foremost confront the rumor that is Robert Downey Jr. in serious talks for a role in the Star Wars universe, the Mandalorian universe with Jon Favreau, I do 100% believe that. I can bite on that rumor and that headline and that clickbait because Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. are friends. They do have a good relationship. They do have a lot of movies together and a lot of work together between the two of them. You have some serious stuff like the Iron Man movies. You have Chef and all that, where we know Jon Favreau has some serious pull in terms of bringing people in. We know that he can pick up the phone, make a call, and have some pretty A-list celebrity quality actors come in. So if the headline is Robert Downey Jr. in talks with Jon Favreau for a role in the Star Wars universe, I definitely believe it, and I'm definitely on board. I'm always on board for some popularity to come into Star Wars, some more higher quality celebrities to come in, and for them to bring eyes onto Star Wars, bring news and media, and bring more eyes in, more of a fan base, some Iron Man fans, some fans of RDJ's work with Favreau or without might come in and join. So I'm really on board, and I do think it could be true. I'm definitely biting on that as a rumor.
So something that I think is really funny. So this news came out yesterday. I remember you sent me the trending topic that Robert Downey Jr. looked in talks to play a significant role with Jon Favreau as the director, whether it's Mandalorian, Ahsoka, whatever the situation is. And something that I thought was really funny was I was actually watching Star Wars the other night, as I do almost every night, and I was discussing with my girlfriend saying that there's some characters in any movie that you can't, like, when you see them, that's the role. Like, you can't picture anyone else playing that person. And why I was talking about that was Palpatine. And first of all, he's been Palpatine since day one, so obviously it's hard. But I was actually watching a like behind the scenes of episode 1, 2, and 3 type of thing, and he was talking, and all I saw was Palpatine talking about himself. I didn't see an actor talking about himself because he's so good with that role. It's him. He embodies the role. And I said the only other person who I really feel like that about is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
For sure.
So in my life, because besides Star Wars and wrestling, Marvel Cinematic Universe and comic books is something that we really love. And Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. I can't picture anyone else playing Iron Man. And when I see Robert Downey Jr., I see Iron Man.
Yeah, he is Iron Man. He's directly attached to that character.
And I said that a day before the news of Robert Downey Jr. potentially playing a role in Star Wars, which I thought was pretty funny. So when I thought about that, I said, well, first of all, I just said yesterday, I can't picture him playing anybody else but Iron Man. But sign me up for Robert Downey Jr. playing any role in Star Wars.
For sure. I can't see.
I think you're crazy if you're against that.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's no reason to be against Star Wars bringing in people that will bring eyes to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Bringing in A-list celebrities. And now what that comes down to is, are we biting now? Because like I said, I'm fully biting on RDJ's involvement in the Star Wars universe.
We know that Favreau has a good relationship with Robert Downey Jr. We know that Robbie Downey Jr. is pretty much, unless there's a flashback or something in that sense, he's done with Marvel.
Yeah,
at the moment.
And Favreau loves bringing his friends in.
Of course. And we just had, we had Bill Burr, we had this one, we had that one, and they all speak about how they just get a phone call or they bump into Jon Favreau and he's like, hey, why don't you come in and why don't you do this? And some of them, like Bill Burr said in his interview, he's not a big Star Wars guy, but I think he totally killed the role, and that's the most important thing. As long as you're totally invested in your part, that's what's important to me. So whether Robert Downey Jr., I mean, I'm sure he knows about Star Wars. He might not know about the animated series, so he might have to do a lot of digging into the role of Thrawn if he is playing Thrawn or whatever, but it's Robert Downey Jr., so he will
Right.
absolutely blow that role out of the park. With that being said, do I want Robert Downey Jr. to play Thrawn? I want Robert Downey Jr. in the Star Wars universe, all for it, but I would prefer Lars, who's the Lars Mickelson, I believe, is that
Yeah.
how you pronounce his
Mhm.
last name? Mickelson is I prefer, he's the voice of Thrawn. He's got a really cool look. And I think that he would, when I listen to that voice of Thrawn, and I've said this in the past, that I think that Thrawn's voice is such an important part of Thrawn, the way that he has this like laid back kind of tone, but he's very malicious. So I can't think of anyone better than the person who actually voiced him, especially when we got Bo-Katan and you know people like that show that they can really embody the role. But I could also understand, and also the fact that Lars is also a well-known actor. He's done things before. It's not like it's like a situation where Ahsoka comes in and Eckstein, maybe wouldn't be able to, or
Mhm.
Eckstein wouldn't be able to 100% embody the role for a long-term series.
Yeah.
you know. So I think he would be great. I just hope that Thrawn's done well. That's all I really
Well,
care
yeah, I
about.
mean,
Whether whoever takes the role, as
yeah.
long as it's done well.
So the way I look at the more specifically Robert Downey Jr. as Thrawn thing, because I did want to bring up this point because we actually spoke about this,
Hmm.
which was so when Sasha Banks got booked for
Hmm.
The Mandalorian, we jumped the gun. And we're big wrestling fans, as we mentioned multiple times, and we jumped the gun and we were very gung ho Sasha Banks as Sabine Wren. We were
Hmm.
on that train. We were excited for it way before we should
I
have
think
been.
we
We were
talked about
talking about it
we
constantly.
discussed Sasha Banks is Sabine Wren for probably the duration of her being
Right.
casted in Star Wars to the day that we saw her on Star Wars.
Right. And the reason why I don't want to jump the gun on RDJ as Thrawn is because we jumped the gun on that. And then when Sasha did come in, Sasha was Bo's number two. She was a badass Mandalorian. She looked great. She did a great job for what she was assigned for. Yet we still kind of were disappointed that she wasn't Sabine. So I don't really want to create that narrative again. I'm
Mhm.
going to try to stay away from if there's rumors of someone coming and joining the Star Wars universe before I fan cast them and get gung ho for that. And it disappoints me when he could be playing someone awesome that is just a general in the Empire or whatever the case may be. Or who knows? He could be the villain that's not Thrawn for season 3. He could be a Mandalorian. We don't know. But with all that being said, I'm a huge Thrawn fan. Thrawn's one of my favorite villains. As you could see over my left shoulder, I have as much Thrawn. I read all the Thrawn novels so far. I really do love Thrawn. And in terms of appearance, I can 100% be down for Robert Downey Jr. as Thrawn. I think they could do it right. And I think Robert Downey Jr. is a good enough actor to portray all the points you made with Lars. Because I do like
Oh,
Lars
I
and I
agree.
am on board for that. I do. I'm on board for Lars to portray live action Thrawn, but we have to realize that Robert Downey Jr. is such an experienced, amazing, legendary actor that he could put on a show. And I don't want to assume that he can't without seeing it first. And I do think that he's lean, he's masculine, he has strong features, well shaved with the hair. I do think that with the blue skin and the red contacts, he could look amazing, and I do think that his acting capability could carry
Listen,
the role. I'm
if
on board for it.
oh,
If he
listen,
shows up as it,
if
I'm going to be excited.
tomorrow they say it is confirmed 100% that Robert Downey Jr. is Thrawn, I'm excited as could be.
Mhm.
And I totally forget about the fact that I wanted somebody else in the role. But at this moment, because there's not enough proof of what's going on. So I don't know if he definitely, like you said, when it when it comes out that somebody's playing somebody in Star Wars, it's automatic. He's playing this person.
Exactly, and
So
that's what I'm trying to
that's
avoid.
what it is.
Yeah,
It could have literally been a conversation between the two of them, and it got leaked that he's going to join the Star Wars universe. But it's not. it might not be for Thrawn. It probably isn't for Thrawn. It could be. I don't know. We like, I don't know if it's 10% that it's a chance or it's 100% it's a chance. I really, nobody knows.
Me
But
too. Yeah, I
I
agree.
also, like I said, I know that once Sasha Banks was casted, especially because she wrestles with blue and purple hair, and she has a very similar look.
Right.
We all, and it all comes down to, like, we didn't know who Casca Reeves was. She didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
So
I'm saying. Yeah.
so he could be playing somebody who we don't know exists, or somebody who we do know exists, but
Yeah.
we don't know that they're going to be. The only reason we're thinking that he's going to be Thrawn is because Ahsoka name dropped Thrawn. We know Thrawn is coming.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a fact
Like I
at this
said,
point.
he can pull off the appearance. He, like I said, he is, he has the strong features. He's lean in shape, and the age would probably match up correctly. It isn't an asinine thing
No,
to jump the gun and say, oh, RDJ is Thrawn because of all the things I just named. But in the same breath, like I said, I don't want to do that after we did it with Sasha, and he just ends up being the antagonist on Mandalore for season 3, or a cameo that we don't even realize it's him. He's in so much alien makeup, and he's just friends with Favreau. So we can't. I'm not biting on the Throne rumors, but I
whatever.
am 100% in.
Yeah, whoever he plays, it's 2 thumbs up from me. I know it's
Mhm.
thumbs up from you, because it doesn't matter. Robert Downey Jr. joining Star Wars is awesome. It's
Right.
huge. It's very, very cool.
It's good for
Uh,
media.
you
Yeah, I
know,
love
we
it.
it's great. We can't complain about that. And all we have is speculation right now. So once more information comes out, we'll jump back on here and dig in a little deeper. Maybe they confirm it's Thrawn. Maybe they confirm it's not Thrawn.
Maybe he's not in it at all, and we're sitting
Maybe,
around
yeah,
waiting
right.
for
Maybe it's
RDJ forever, and he never shows up.
maybe it's a giant clickbait, just because Robert Downey Jr. and Favreau are obviously good friends and obviously colleagues, and that
Right.
could just be the reason why that was thrown in. They could have met for dinner. Just, they could be working on something Marvel, and that's why they were talking, for all we know.
Yep.
Everyone's tying everything Star Wars to Favreau, but he has his hands in Marvel. He has his hands in a lot of things, so you never know. But once we find out more information, we just wanted to jump on here now and discuss it with you guys, and we're dying to hear what you guys think. That's what we were really excited for, because me and my brother, we could talk all the time about this stuff, but we don't get to hear from you guys all the time. So if you can, please comment on this video. Let us know what you think. Comment on our Instagram. Let us know what you think. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe. And we want to thank everybody so much, because we started this thing not too long ago, and we just hit our 100th subscriber, and we're climbing even more now. So
Yep.
we hit the 100th subscriber yesterday, and it meant a lot to us. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in and being really involved and supporting us. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And till next time, thank you.
All right.
Talk to you later,
Thanks.
Steph.